So one of the points that we've heard from Biden's allies and his staffers is that, look, we know it looks rough in public. We know that he's struggling in these press conferences and, he is repeating himself and he's bringing up conversations he had as if they were yesterday, but the person died in 1996. We know all that. But, don't worry, because behind closed doors, he is sharp. He is with it. This is something we've heard. Now, by the way, the fact that they have to make this argument is an admission that we know in public it ain't pretty. We know he's struggling a lot. So the fact that you even you feel like you have to make this argument means you're kind of backed into a corner. But now there's even massive problems with that narrative. It's been proven to be total nonsense. Now, I'm sure you knew, and I knew, we had a feeling, of course, that's nonsense. But now there's evidence of it. Donors are worried because just as in public press conferences, they noticed Biden's closed-door fundraisers involve staged Q&A sessions where he's given cheat cards to help him answer pre-arranged questions. So this is in the Axios piece. President Biden has been using note cards in closed-door fundraisers, calling on pre-screened donors, and then consulting his notes to provide detailed answers according to people familiar with the routine. Biden's reliance on note cards to help explain his own policy positions on questions he knows are coming is raising concerns among some donors about Biden's age. The president is 81 but claims he feels younger. The staged Q&A sessions have left some donors wondering whether Biden can withstand the rigors of a presidential campaign, let alone potential debates with former President Trump. So even his own top dollar donors, because if you're at a private fundraiser, it's a lot of money. You're not just, hey, here's $20. No. Even his own top dollar donors are nervous. And they're going to the media. And they're saying, hey, man, this is not pretty. So they pre-screen a bunch of softball questions, and he can't even handle the softball on its own. He still needs note cards for the softball. Nah, man. Nah. Look, I'm a YouTuber, and, it's incumbent on me to interact in real time and respond to something before having it pre-screened and stuff. You're the president of the United States, and you're running for another 4-year term. And you can't answer questions just like shooting from the hip. You need them to be pre-screened, and you need note cards? Nah, man. He might be even more gone than he appears. Right? He might be even more gone, and it doesn't appear good. Remember when he brought up, this was the one that was like, what are we doing? When, I guess rejecting the Super Bowl interview was a big one for people. And I think a lot of even standard resistance liberal types, Ezra Klein, Nate Silver, those sorts of people were sounding the alarm. Because I think that was the moment where people realized, oh, he just can't do this. He can't. If you're giving up millions of dollars of free advertising, why? Because you feel like you'll do more damage by doing the interview. Well, what does that say? So that was a big moment. The other big moment to me was when he started bringing up dead people. He brought up Francois Mitterrand, who died in 1996. When he wanted to talk about Macron, I think it was, he brought up Helmut Kohl, who's another German leader who had died a long time ago, when he wanted to bring up Merkel. And guys, look, this is, I hate to say it, but this is what people who are on the way out, is what they do. They bring up, they remember more vividly stuff from their past than they remember, right then and there, recent stuff. And it's almost like they permanently live decades back when their minds were fully functioning, right? This is what happens. And it's ugly. And it ain't pretty, but they're lying to us every step of the way, man. They're lying to us. And I don't know, are you really going to get it past the American people? Because, look, I'm under no illusions here. It's not like Trump was charged with 91 crimes. Trump said he wants to suspend the Constitution. Trump tried to overthrow the last election and end democracy. All of those things are massive, massive strikes against him. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know at the end of the day if the American people will choose that guy or the one who's clearly sundowning and can't complete a sentence. I don't know the answer to that. And that's terrifying. The thing is, I am totally confident if you replace Biden, a generic Democrat would beat Trump. Because every poll shows a generic Democrat is up 13 points on Trump. And by the way, it's vice versa. If the Republicans can somehow magically get rid of Trump, a generic Republican beats Biden by double digits. So the first one to ditch these candidates is going to win. They're going to win. And instead, we're being gaslit day in and day out. They're gaslighting us. It's no, he's fine. He's actually really sharp behind closed doors. And then you hear a story like this. And it's like, of course you're full of shit. Of course you're full of shit. I don't want to roll the dice on Trump winning again. I can't do that. I just can't do it. And this is the guy who we're putting up against him. A guy who's aiding and abetting Netanyahu doing a genocide. A guy who's polling in the 33 to 38 percentile range. Really? This is what we're doing? So, I don't know. And by the way, as time goes by, it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. This doesn't get better. And at a certain point, there's not enough drugs in the world to get him through a day, right? I would imagine if he does a debate, they're going to pump his ass full of Adderall and antipsychotic medication and anything that could clear him up a little bit, even for an hour or two. But at a certain point, even the drugs ain't going to get you there. So what are we doing here? What are we doing? Enough with this farce. The good news is, guys, I really think now there's a genuinely a 50-50 chance or maybe 60-40 chance that he might step down. That after he gets the nomination, he can announce, I'm going to step aside, and then the delegates will pick who they want, right? And that makes it so that you give the DNC full control, which they want to do. They want to give the DNC full control. They don't want the voters to decide. And so there's a chance they'll step down. But we'll have to see. And in that scenario, who's going to be the one to replace him? Because my guess is just with the way the levers of power work, they're going to want Kamala, even though Kamala is probably a weaker option than many other candidates. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But now I at least think there's a real chance that he could be replaced because we're starting to see Biden's staunchest allies break from him. The Ezra Kleins of the world, the Nate Silvers of the world. And to get articles like this, that means even the donors are saying this is not okay. And as we all know in American politics, what the donors say goes. They're the ultimate boss. So we'll see what happens. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.